So, we have a boat that is leaking.
Boat.
We have a leaking boat.
We didn't think we'd brought a project boat, but it turns out we brought a project boat.
Yeah, we got ourselves a project boat. We don't want to sound like we're complaining. Like, we really don't.
We're very lucky to be living this life. We love this life. We love cruising.
Yeah.
We love being somewhere different, like every week.
Yeah, we just don't like water.
We don't like rain.
This water, good water. If it's coming up through the bottom of the boat, bad water. If it's coming
down from the sky
and it's coming inside the boat, bad water. And we found some bad water. Not the worst kind of water, but pretty bad water.
We knew we had bad water because we found a leak by the front door, we found a leak by the back door. We knew we had a leak by the mushroom cap because we could see the damage, so we fixed that. We fixed the other two.
And we thought we kind of had it all covered.
So when it rained on Tuesday, we were like, happy days.
Yeah, we were like, okay,
check.
we've gotten to a place on the K&A where we can sit and do some useful stuff. We've more or less figured out the I's and T's of solar. We think we've got a decision. Even though we've suddenly had to deal with batteries as well, we've committed to a set of batteries. We even went up the next day and bought those batteries. So
we're like ready
feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there's rain falling under the window down the side of the boat. And we had to tear out some wood to even find out what was going on.
Yeah, we had to take the fascia off, and then behind the fascia there's more wood, which is black and soggy.
And it's like, oh God, now what are we dealing with?
Our hearts just sunk because, how daunting is it to think that we've now got to fix leaks in this one window, and if there's leaks in this one window, there's probably leaks
in all of them.
And if there's not now,
there will be.
The boat's 12, 13 years old, so if this one's failed, the others are going to start failing. So now we've got research to do on how to fix windows, and then we've actually got the job to fix windows, and it's not a quick job. And then there's all this conflicting advice, like people saying use this and use that, and it's like, well, which is the right answer?
And on top of the windows being suspect, which we will end up probably having to do a video for, tell us below if you're interested in seeing a window torn out and replaced. We're doing the first one
to work out the process.
To work it out, but once we've got it, it's like, okay, if this actually functions.
We've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 9 more to do. So
yeah. So by the 9th one, we'll definitely have this down. And on top of the windows being suspect, the mushroom caps are suspect. Because we went around and checked all of the seals, basically.
We knew one was leaking and we fixed that. But now we're just kind of thinking, if the next one's going to fail, we want to be able to fix it in July when it's really good weather, rather than like suddenly having water coming in December. And
so we get up on the roof and we open the second one, not the
one we fixed 2 months ago.
Not the one we fixed 2 months ago, but the first one at the front of the boat.
So it's just luck that it hasn't, water hasn't found its way in.
Yeah, well, some of it has, but it hasn't found its way in so far that we've noticed it yet.
No, and there's like a little bit of rust in there, but we don't know if that's from water getting in or just because of what the mushroom cap is. It's, ventilation, so hot moist air from the boat goes up there and condenses on the cold metal. So, the rust could be from that, but it also could very well be from water leaking in.
Yeah, I think it's the water leaking in.
Yeah, so
I'm sure it's the water leaking in.
So basically, we just did a little video of how we fixed our mushroom cap, and I'm sure there's other ways to fix a mushroom cap, but this is how we did it based on the information we got from the marina and all the research we did online. So we basically used a polyurethane
sealant adhesive called Marine Flex. We had recommendations for Sikaflex, but Sikaflex is not actually all that flexible, and you get it wrong once, you're never getting it off again without possibly cutting it out of the boat.
So we decided this Marine Flex was the best thing.
Yeah, silicone really should just go around the outside of the thing. We needed something to adhere it down.
Yeah, silicone's just the sealant.
Yeah. So this is a marine grade adhesive sealant, and it was what I used on the first mushroom cap, and it seems to have done really well.
So basically what we did is, first of all, tried to get the screws out of the brass mushroom cap. 3 came out like butter. 1
not so easy.
Basically, when they installed it, they didn't get the holes in the right place, so this one was a little bit off, and then the screw going in, it basically cut into the actual brass.
Tapped its own path into the brass.
But we used some, was it cutting oil?
Yeah, I just happened to have some cutting oil.
So just to add some lubricant, and slowly we got that screw out. And then we had to pull out there's a plastic tube inside.
Acting as kind of a sleeve.
Yeah.
And this one was a little different than our other one, which was a single intact piece of PVC pipe. This one, I think just because maybe it wasn't so easy for them to get in, they'd cut a slit in it. So it was sort of a sleeve.
And so there was like a 5mm gap.
Yeah, and that 5mm gap was just open to the air.
Inside the like trunking in the ceiling.
Yeah, and when we got in there, you found all sorts of like spiders and
spider skeletons,
spider skeletons, and a great
webs
cobweb. And I think the cobweb was the only thing keeping us dry.
So we took the tube out, and then we had to clean up the surface on the roof. And as I said, there was a little bit of rust. There was a little bit of bubbling paint, which was a sign that there was definitely some rust underneath the paint. So we used the Dremel to take that right back down, so to as near bare metal as we could get, or at least remove the loose rust.
Yep. And then we covered the rust in Vactan, which is one of a number of different products out there for converting rust. Basically just chemically converts it from active ferrous oxide to ferrous something or other oxide. It's a type of acid, and it causes the iron to form a different compound, and that compound is at least more inert and doesn't actively expand.
So
I think it's actually meant to be more dense than the rust, so it keeps it from doing that sort of foaming thing that rust does over time.
Yeah, it stops the rust from developing, basically, while continuing.
And Vactan also turns into a kind of a plastic as it cures, so it actually does a fairly good job of kind of leveling itself and sealing at the same time.
Some people call it Bactan, some people call it Vactan.
Yeah, it actually is Vactan. Vactan, that's the name of the brand.
And some people use Fertan, which we haven't tried yet, but you say you can spray it on?
Yeah, it's a spray, and it doesn't form the sort of meniscus of plasticky.
So you potentially get a better finish. This is practice as well, because we do have like quite a few areas of rust spots around the boat that we need to start, treating. So we need to kind of perfect our rust treatment and paint and everything.
Basically, what we've been told is down as close to bare metal as you can, or ideally to bare metal. Vactan the rust spots, and then basically red oxide primer over top of that, or whatever primer you choose, I guess. But we've got red oxide, and then over that, if possible, a top coat. Where the mushroom caps are, not so possible at this juncture, just because
of the drying time of the top coat.
The drying time of the top coat and the thunderstorms that are predicted for day after tomorrow.
If this was a place that was visible, you might want to put some filler in as well, but because this is underneath the brass, that we don't, and any gaps will be filled by the what's it called?
Polyurethane sealant.
We put the sauce pot over for the night, and then this morning we got up and
did a whole bunch of other jobs around the boat.
And then decided that we needed to finish the mushroom cap. So the red oxide had dried, and so it was time to refit the mushroom cap.
Yep, so sort of a dry fit, make sure that all the screws were still going in properly. We could have gotten either Vactan or rust,
in the holes.
Primer into the holes, and that would have caused some problems.
And then the other thing we did is we didn't make a note of which way round it went.
Yeah, we've done 2 mushroom caps so far, and both times we have failed to note which direction.
And that was quite important on this because of the extra.
Yeah. So we ended up figuring out the orientation that it needed to sit at again, and Joe got the screws in nice and easy. So it was like, okay, that's good. So we pull out the dry fit,
put in the sleeve.
And then the sleeve has to be sealed. So we had to kind of just slide it into place and then seal it up from the inside by going up the inner gap and just trying to get sealant to adhere to both of the edges so that we weren't just pushing sealant out into the wood space.
This void.
Which was kind of fun. And then a big ring of sealant around the top,
which we then pushed in to
make sure there was no air bubbles, to make sure that we got it nice and
then more sealant,
compressed, and more sealant on there. And then another bead on the inside, on the actual hull side of where it was going to mate in the mushroom cap, and then the mushroom cap comes down on top of it.
And then so you can, we didn't put sealant where the holes were, so I could line them up. But then of course you've got to like push and turn it and squeeze it, because what you want to do is see sealant coming out all around the edge, so you know that there's sealant everywhere.
Which means that you push sealant up the screw holes, which makes it very hard to see where these screw holes were.
So we then had to get a little tiny drill bit to push through and line it all up again, which worked very well.
Yeah. And then it was screws in, and just slowly adding tension on each of the screws, sort of in a clockwise or
random direction.
Random orientation, and
bit of sealant.
Billet of sealant into the area underneath each of the screws.
And then,
if anybody points out to us that we should have used countersunk screws, you're right, but those were the ones that happened to be on it, and we don't have a source of countersunk brass screws anywhere nearby. And once it's fully cured, I should be able to fix up the top coat. Then I will put a thick bead of silicone around it to provide that extra level of protection.
Please also nobody comment about how tarnished our mushroom caps are.
Oh yeah. We'll get them shiny at some point.
Potentially very exciting video on Wednesday.
Potentially.
But if it's a boring video like of us talking about mushroom caps, then
nothing good happened.
Also, let us know if you want the window video.
And let us know if you want a sofa bed. And you live anywhere near Reading. So we're trying to get rid of a sofa bed, but we need to be able to work on the boat. To be able to work, we need to have power, which is why we've been going so nuts about solar and batteries. We need to have
a dry environment.
And we need to have a dry environment.
Oh yeah, do you also want a video, like other people have done videos about Wi-Fi on boats, but we had some issues where our Wi-Fi was just going in like minutes.
Yeah, we did. We had a 32 gigabyte data allowance for the first month, and we did 30 gigabytes in 2 days.
Yeah,
and we didn't know how.
But we've worked out now, so if you're interested in that, let us know and we'll do a video on that.
Yeah.
But also, we need to work, we need a desk, we need to get rid of the sofa. So if you want to come and pick up our sofa from our boats, let us know. You can have it. And then once we've finished all this maintenance stuff and we're not cruising anywhere,
3 years from now,
the videos will just be of Michael sat at his desk on his computer. That's the dream.
That's my dream. Okay, the audio's going this time.
We've just spoken for frickin' ages.
For about an hour.
Without this thing going.
No audio.
So,
blooper.
We've had a really good practice, so this video should be slick now.
Yeah.
Probably won't be. Still silicon.
There is.
I'll give him a bit of slack.
And after the exciting video, we have other videos. I don't know. We're working.
Thanks for that useful input.
Yeah. To give a short update, because
this is Screws Loose.
Oh yes, Screws Loose the goose is about to take my finger off. I'm going to film Screws Loose while you run and get some food. Everybody say hello to Screws Loose. He's a little wackadoodle. He's a good goose. He's an entertaining goose.
Apart from when he knocks on our boat for dinner.
Yeah, sometimes he tries to eat the hull. And there it is. Food for Screws Loose.
And his friend.
And his friend, who he will savage if he gets too close to his food.